Hello, everyone. Hopefully, everyone's doing all right. Oh, I just got some weird news, and I'm trying as hard as I can to keep my composure. So, I did promise I was going to be here at 1 o'clock. I'm going to be here at 1 o'clock. I'm just really just going to get to the information, and let's just keep going. So today we're going to be looking at vertex form. So yesterday we were, and also the day before that, we were kind of looking a little bit of the quadratics. So now we are, trying to get my composure here. So now we are basically looking at what's called vertex form for those quadratic equations. So let me get myself all kinds of situated here. All right, let me hush that up. And we got this. All right, so vertex form. When we are looking at vertex form, let me kind of zoom in so you can get these notes. So vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And you're like, Audrey, it's a whole bunch of letters. Like, what is going on? I love how the person that joined in just says his name is I'm scared. Or maybe it's a female, I'm not sure. So here is, when it comes to the formula, there's like 3 places that you need to look at. So one of the places is your A value, okay, your H, and the K. So H and K is basically your vertex. Okay, so H and K is basically that vertex. Whereas the H is representing your X values, and your K is representing your Y values. Now, the A is going to tell you a couple of things. So the A, which is your leading coefficient, is going to tell you how your graph is going to open. If it's going to open up like a cup, or if it's going to open down like a frown. And also, it's going to tell you, is your graph going to be like long and skinny, aka stretched? Or is it going to be nice and wide, aka compressed? So when we're doing these, and also a little tidbit that I have down here, is that when your A is positive, when it opens up, your range is also going to be greater than. So we're going to talk about these step by step. We talked a little bit about it before, but we're going to take a look at this. So if your A is negative, or it's opening downwards, your range is going to be less than or equal to. So if it opens up, it's going to be greater than or equal to. If it opens down, it's going to be less than or equal to. So that deals with our range. So let's do a little bit of identifying. So we're not going to be doing anything with going from standard form to vertex. That's going to be going on tonight, roughly around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Okay, depending on how things are going. All right. So because I did have a cancellation and I was like, ooh, I might be able to go live this evening. Okay. So what we're doing is we are identifying certain things. So let me show you how it's done. So we have y equals x minus 1 squared plus 2. So in front of this parenthesis, that's going to be your A value. If you don't see anything, it's assumed to be a 1. Okay, it's assumed to be a 1. Now, for my H and my K, the original formula, let me see if I can get both. Okay, the original formula, it says x minus h. So if I have a number that's keeping with that same formula, that means this number is actually going to be a positive number. So the easiest way that kind of helps me to remember is if it's inside a parenthesis, you always give it the opposite sign. So if I see x minus 1, that means it's actually going to be a positive 1. Okay? So inside the parenthesis, the signage is always opposite what you see. So I see a minus or a negative 1. Now that means I'm going to have to make it positive. But my k value, okay, so the k is my constant. My k value is outside. I write down what exactly I see. I see a positive 2, so my k is going to be a positive 2. Right? So now I have a couple of things over here, LR, an arrow up and an arrow down. So I'm basically saying that there is going to be movement. So when you look at a quadratic equation, and let me see if I can just kind of slide a graph right here. When I look at a regular quadratic equation, and that will be my y equals x squared. Let me slide that over for you. Okay, so I'm looking in right here. So when I have a regular quadratic, my vertex, remember we talked about that turning point will always be at 0, 0. Okay, so before I do any kind of funky movement to it. But when I look at my equation in vertex form, I need to change my vertex from 0, 0 to go over to 1, positive 2. So I had to go to the right one and then up 2. So now the new vertex, let me change colors for a second. The new vertex will be up here. So people call this transformation. Okay, so when you're transforming, when you are gliding, you always have a start. And the starting graph is called your parent function. So I'm going to write this up here. I think you can see that. So think about it. You are a product of your parents, believe it or not, okay? Do I need to go back to sperm, egg, and all that stuff? Okay, no? All right, awesome. Okay, so we have a start. So the starting is here at 0, 0. So we have to tell, how do I move from this point at 0, 0 to the new vertex at 1, 2? So what I did was I had to go to the right one, okay? So that means I had to go to the right one, and then I had to go up 2. So even though inside the parenthesis you see a minus 1, remember, here's the original equation. The original equation has a minus sign in with the h. So in order for it to keep this minus here, that means this 1 has to be a positive 1. Okay? You always do the opposite of what you see. All right? Seeing a lot of people joining in and joining out. Hey, welcome in, guys. All right. So when we're doing this, if it says minus, that means I'm going to the right one. And then I'm going to go up 2 units. That's where my new vertex will be. All right? But since it's positive, since it's opening up, okay, the domain is exactly the same as what we talked about yesterday. And I think a couple of you guys, oh, hey, Lamar, thank you. All right. So I think a couple of you guys know, what is my domain? Share your knowledge with everyone. What is the domain? Okay, share the knowledge with the other 23 people here. What is my domain? I think a couple of you guys were here last time. Okay, good. We got all reals. It's all real numbers. The reason why, okay, so it's not just going to be the x value, it's going to be all of them. Okay, so it represents the x's, but anytime you have a quadratic, all of the x's are being represented, all the positive ones, because we only see a small snapshot. If I expanded this graph, it's going to go up and out all the way to infinity, to positive infinity to the right and negative infinity to the left. So that's why we say the domain is all real numbers. Or you can have it as negative infinity to positive infinity if you're doing the interval notation. But your range, I tried to give you a little bit of heads up. Hey, General. Not a problem. So if we take a look down here, we're saying if my A, or the graph is opening up, that means my range is going to be greater than or equal to whatever my K value is. All right, so let's take a look. It's positive, it's opening up like a cup, so that means my range is going to be Y is greater than or equal to, and my K value is going to be 2. So it's saying at the new vertex, okay, the new vertex is going to be at 2. And since it's opening up, it's dealing with all the Y values that are at 2 and greater, okay, because it's going all the way up to positive infinity. All right. So your domain is always going to be all real numbers, so don't get that twisted. Okay, that's always going to happen. But your range, you want to take a look at how the graph is opening. If my A value, which is a positive one, that means it's going to open up like a cup. And that means I'm looking at my K, which is a 2. So that's why it's Y is greater than or equal to 2. All right. Okay. So now, let me see if I can switch over. Let's see if this pen will work. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my next example. Okay, see if I can enlarge it just a tad. Okay, all right. So now, just by looking at it, and actually let me write the standard equation up top so you have that, because we're just learning this for the first time. Can't be an expert just yet. It's coming. Not just yet. Okay, so this is our standard equation. So y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So based off of the equation, what is my a, what is my h, and what is my k? Let's get that part down. What is my a? Go ahead and put it in the chat. What do you think my a will represent? And we're looking at this equation. What is my a? Okay. So Andrea, close. Okay, good. Way to correct it. Good. Will Jack, good job. Ashley, good job. HTX, check your signs. Just check your signs for me. Okay. Because see, we got a -3, and probably you may not see it. Maybe I need to zoom in a little bit more, huh? Maybe that might work a little bit. Okay. All right, there you go. No problem. No problem. hey, this is how we do it. Like, if you're new, I don't think you're new, but this I try not to criticize, you know? This is why we try to take it easy and try to learn it step by step, okay? So, we have our -3. What do you think our h will be? Take a look, take a moment, watch your signs. What do you think our h is going to be? Okay, Wilczek says -4. Pog says -4. My heart says -4. Ashley says 4. Andrea says -4. Lamar says -4. Cassandra 4. Okay, we want to watch our signs. So my original is a minus, a value. But here I got a plus. How can I change a minus to a plus? Okay, how can I change a minus to a plus? Okay, 2 negatives. Thank you, Andrea. Okay, because a negative times a negative gives me a positive. So how do I get from a negative original to now a positive? That means this 4 had to be a negative number. So here's the secret. You always use the sign opposite what you see. So we see x plus 4. So that means I want to do the opposite, which is going to be -4. Okay, it is being multiplied by a negative. Good. All right. All right, so not so much the squared. Right now, the squared is just telling me that it's a quadratic. So we're really not messing around with the squares, okay? It's there to kind of tell us that there's a quadratic. Now, my k. What is my k? Okay, time to redeem ourselves for those that kind of got it wrong a little bit, but we're learning it, right? Okay. Is it Neela? Got -5. Wiljack, -5. Andrea, -5. Prague, -5. Hearts, 5. Tamika, 5. Lamar, -5. Ashley, 5. Heart changed it to -5. Good. Mulu, you're going to have to help me with the breakdown of your name. Muluam? I have to work on that one. That's a 5. Yesy, -5. Tamika changed it to -5. Good. Stop animation. -5. Okay, back to -5. There we go. So since it is a -5, it stays with the number. So we have our k. It is what you see. You only flip around what's inside the parenthesis. Yes, Lisa. Hi. Like, Lisa, are you sick of me or are you sick of me? Like, all right. So what you found, if I was to start at 0, 0, so I'm going to put it rough sketch right here. So if I were to start at the origin with my parabola, I would have to move, when it says -4, that means I moved to the left 4, and then I went down 5. So my new point will be to the left. I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, so my vertex changed from 0, 0 to our new vertex, which is, oops, should put it down here, -4, -5. So that's going to be our vertex. Okay, make sure you guys can see that. But the shape of the parabola is still the same. Okay, it's still going to open up like a cup. Oh, no, it's not. It's not going to open up like a cup. It's going to open down like a frown. Why is it going to open like a cup? Oh, no, it's not. It's not going to open up like a cup. It's going to open down like a frown. Why is it going to open down like a frown? I just caught myself. Why is it going to open down like a frown? Go ahead, put it in the chat. It's going to open down like a frown. Okay, A is negative. Good. With the K, you write what you see. With H, you flip what's in the parentheses. Yes, Nyla. Good. All right. Yes, A is negative. Yes, because since my A is negative, we're going to be going down like a frown. So we're looking at the darker version, not the lighter version. Okay, the darker version. All right. So my domain, I know, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but my domain is all real numbers, never changes. But what is my range? What would be my range? I'll give you time to type it because I know it's a little harsh. Oh, hey, Lynette. Oh, I saw that video that you sent me. Thank you. That really motivated me. And then I got some weird news before I came on. Yeah. Okay. What would be my range? Okay. So we have y is greater than or equal to -5. Close, Lisa. There's just something that you have to change. Because remember, my graph is going to be going downwards. Okay. All right, Ashley. There's one thing missing, Ashley. There's just one thing that's missing. So it's not for you to take away, but to add to. Something you got to add in there. Okay. There we go, Lisa. Okay. All right. So Lisa has y is less than or equal to -5. Why is she saying less than or equal to? Why is that happening? Thanks for sharing, Shell. Appreciate it. Why are we saying less than or equal to? What's prompting that? And if you don't know, you can use a question mark. Question marks are perfectly fine. They're perfectly safe here. Okay, Lamar says because the parabola is a frown, so it's facing down. Okay. And it's dealing with all the numbers that are less than. Remember, for the y-axis, we're going all the way to -infinity. Okay, so it's going all the way down. I didn't want to make my parabola too long because I want to do something with my graph. Okay. So you have to keep going to less than. Yes, because we're going towards -infinity. Yes, Will Jack. Good job, guys. Yes. All right. Very nicely done. All right, very nicely done. So we are looking at, let me change this. So y is less than or equal to -5. Okay. All right. So now, how are we feeling? Okay, so before I get into something a little more detail, it's going to be a little bit of practice. If you can go ahead and tap away, and I'm just going to say real quickly because I may not have time at the end. If you like the format of what you see, okay, I designed this. This is my math notebook that I actually sell on Amazon. Been showing a lot and doing a lot of notes for you guys in here so you can actually see like how to use it. And it gives you a section where you can have your formulas. We're going to talk about this sometime either this week or next week. I think next week or this weekend. But we have some formulas, give you some room to put your notes in. Then on top of it, if you ever wanted to take bits and pieces from like a worksheet and just tape it into like old school cut and paste, but instead of pasting, you can use double stick tape or regular tape and tape it in. But then you have the other side to give you more of some graphing or some additional work that you can do on one side. I really do like how it's kind of streamlined. It's easier to see. So if you want to see a formula, boom, go into the formula section. Now you can just pull that formula out. And then if you have some things that has like multiple steps, you can actually fill out the steps and then you'll have it here. Okay. So then you'll have it. If your teacher gives you a paper that says, hey, I want you to keep this in here, you can keep it in here, tape it on one side, and then you can summarize what's on that paper over here. So if you ever get open notes quizzes or maybe an open person, like I used to back in the day, type of quiz, then you'll have an idea of how to find the information so much quicker. All right. So with that being said, we got all these lovely things ready for you. Okay, but if you ever need it, you can go to my profile and you can go ahead and purchase it directly on Amazon. It's called the Ultimate Math Notebook. Now, so when we take a look at the next one, I'm going to zoom in as best I can. Actually, let me zoom in on this part so you can see it so much better. And then we'll work on the graph separately. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to collect some information. Okay, we have our equation, which is y equals x minus 3 squared plus 2. So we want to pull out our vertex, axis of symmetry, how it opens, if it opens up or down, do we have a maximum or a minimum point? And then what is the value of the maximum minimum? Hence, that will go back to your vertex. And then what is the y-intercept? Where does this graph cross at the y-axis? So, for my vertex, remember, your vertex is basically here for your h and here for your k. What is my vertex? Okay. Okay, what's my vertex? If you could take a guess. So Ashley is saying 3, 2. Okay, Grace is saying -3. Okay, remember, inside the parentheses is opposite what you see. Now, the vertex is an ordered pair, is a coordinate. So I need an x value and a y value. Or in this case, I need an h and a k. So I have a -3, 2, 3, -2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, -2, and 3, 2. Okay. So we change what we see inside the parenthesis. So we saw a -3, so that means it's going to be a +3. But we keep what we see for our k. That +2 is going to be a +2. So that's my vertex. axis of symmetry. Some people will see it as AOS. Okay, that's what your axis of symmetry is. The axis of symmetry is a line that goes through the x-axis. So not only does it go through the x-axis, it also goes through your vertex. So it's going to go through the x of your vertex. So the x-symmetry, or axis of symmetry, is always x equals. But x equals what? Okay, Lisa's already in my brain. It's a little scary in there, Lisa. It's frightful in there. All right. Is it Ritimo? Am I saying it correctly? Ritimo? And then we have Jarina. Oh, okay. Good. Thank you. Is it Darina? Wilson Bay? Isn't it 3 times 3? No, we're not squaring. We're not doing anything with the square. All we're doing is just pulling information out. Okay, we're not calculating. Okay? All right, hey? All right, okay, good. All right, so the axis of symmetry, it only goes through your x of your vertex, which is equal to 3. Now, my A is what's in front of the parenthesis. If we don't see anything, it's assumed to be a positive 1. So it's going to, Lisa says, is going to open up. Do we agree? Okay, Will Jack also says opening up. Do we agree? Apple user! Yes! How are you, dear? Yes, happy face. Yay! Okay, yes, yes. Up, up. Awesome. Now, if a graph opens up, am I going to have a maximum or a minimum point? Okay. What do I lose now? Said minimum. Do minimum, minimum, min. Lamar, max, min. Okay, min. So think of it. If it's opening up like a cup, that means my vertex is going to be my low point. That's going to be my minimum. Okay, good. All right. Now, the max or the min value, which since we have a minimum, it's going to be the min value. So basically, what is my lowest y value? What do you think my lowest y value? Abdullah has minimum at 2. Okay. Ash, okay, there you go. 2. I love it. Good. And the way you find that, it is the y value of your vertex. Okay. Fabulous. So now someone, I have to scroll and find, but someone said the y-intercept is 11. How did they figure 11? What did they do? Or if it was you, tell me, what did you do to get the 11? I think it was Abdullah, but I don't want to put it in my mouth. Okay. Yes, sir, Sky says 0 product rule. Yes, you can use 0 product rule. Because what is a y-intercept? Yes, Indigo. Good. Indigo. Sorry. Indigo. What am I thinking? All right, so the y-intercept is when your x value is equal to 0. So if we go back to our original equation and you plug 0 in for the x's, you're going to find your y-intercept. So I'm going to write it relatively small. So we have 0 minus 3 squared. So now this is when we're actually going to be playing around with the squares, people. Plus 2. PEMDAL says we need to do what's inside the parenthesis first. So 0 minus 3, that gives me a negative 3. squared. Bring down the plus 2. So negative 3 squared, that's the same as saying negative 3 times negative 3, which gives me a positive 9. And bring down our plus 2. So 9 plus 2, that'll give us the 11. So whoever said that originally, that my y-intercept was going to be 11, good job. So my y-intercept is 0, 11. Okay, raise up a little bit. There you go. Good, Val. Good. Yes, hi, the y-intercept is 11. There we go. Awesome. Okay, how are you guys feeling so far before we start graphing? Okay, thumbs up. I will take whatever emoji that makes you feel happy, sad, confused, lost. You know, talk to me. Now, here's my thing. If you're just coming on, obviously you're going to be lost. It's almost like you go into a movie and you're like, the end. And you're like, well, what happened to the movie? Well, you got here late, you know? Okay, feeling better, thumbs up, feeling okay. All right, good, cool with shades, nice. This is a coordinate. Yes, my vertex is the coordinate for the h and the k. Yes, it is. Why don't you add negative to 9? Okay, because negative 3 squared is the same as saying, let me put it off to the side and I'll write it in pencil. So negative 3 squared, that's the same as saying negative 3 times negative 3. And negative times a negative gives me a positive, and 3 times 3 gives me 9. Okay, you're okay, Soy? Okay, not a problem. Cool, good, nice. Oh, thank you for the donut. Yeah, I gotta cut down on those things. Ugh. Not because summer's coming, it's just like, ugh, I just need something. I need to get my body together. This has been a weird year, and I just feel like I'm holding all of that craziness. So, all right. So now, let me unzoom a little bit so we can see our graph, and we can graph this. All right, or maybe unzoom a lot. There we go. Okay. First thing I'm going to graph is our vertex. So I'm going to use my red pen. So I start here at 0, 0. The vertex is at 3, 2. So I'm moving to the right 3, and I'm going up 2. So that's going to be where my vertex is. Now, to sketch a parabola or a graph, okay, we need a couple of things. We have the axis of symmetry as x equals 3. So that means we have a line that's going through. Okay, so we have a line that's going through our vertex that we're going to use almost like as a mirror. So it's going to be kind of hard to graph the y-intercept. That's why I love when people have graphs like this, because the y-intercept is probably going to be all the way, because this is 10, so 11's got to be somewhere up here, right? Now, if I want to, I can say this point is 1, 2, 3 units away from my axis of symmetry. So that means that point that's reflective of this is 1, 2, 3 units away from the axis of symmetry. So instead of you plotting 3 individual points, you can use the axis of symmetry as a line of reflection. Okay, sure. So first we figured out our vertex. Our vertex is 3, 2. So if I start here at the origin, I'm going to the right 3 and I'm going up 2. So here's my vertex. The axis of symmetry is a line that's basically cutting right smack in the middle of your parabola, but it goes through the x value of your vertex. So we have our line x equals 3 that's going right through that vertex. Now another point that we have is our y-intercept, and our y-intercept is 0, 11. But my graph only goes up to like 10, so 11 is just like slightly above, right? And you can just go ahead and draw a point. Now, to draw this point though, I'm using this line, the axis of symmetry, because symmetry means that this side is going to be exactly the same as this side, okay? So if this point is 1, 2, 3 units away from the axis of symmetry, that means if I count the other way, I can count 1, 2, 3 units away from the axis of symmetry. So I got a point. It's almost like you looking at a mirror. When you look in a mirror, you see your reflection. If not, get the hell out the house. This place is possessed, okay? We've seen a lot of movies, and we die. We'll be the first ones to die, okay? So I'm not dealing with that. So if anything, that's how you're able to draw another point to help you sketch your parabola. So those are the 2 points that they gave us, or that we found. But we could use our equation and just pick another point. Like if I wanted to pick, I don't know, 1, right? So if I want to pick 1, I'm going to put 1 in for my x. So it's going to look like this. It's going to be 1 minus 3 squared. I think you guys can see that, kind of. Okay, plus 2. 1 minus 3 squared, that gives me a negative 2. And that negative 2 is being squared. So negative 2 squared, that's negative 2 times negative 2, so that gives me a 4. And then 4 plus 2, that will give me a 6. So this is saying to me, I have a point at 1, 6. And I can plot that point. Here's 1, here's 6, and I can plot that point right here. Okay, because most professors will always ask you for like 5 points. One's going to be the vertex, one's going to be your y-intercept, and then you just pick one random x value to substitute into your equation to find its y-intercept. Because I noticed that this point is 1, 2 units away from the x-axis, that means the next point has to be 1, 2 units away from the axis of symmetry. I think I said x-axis. I meant axis of symmetry. So then, boom, I have 5 points. And if I want, I'm going to try to draw, to draw my parabola. Okay, Bridget, hello. Okay. All right. Okay. Eugene, this is amazing. Thank you for sharing. Not a problem. Okay. Because I think a lot of people are starting to get into this. My algebra. Thanks, bruh. Teach better than your algebra teacher? Well, there's, I don't know, 30 of you guys in here? Maybe a little bit more. But exam today. Okay. Is it on this stuff? Virgo? A Virgo? Okay. I'm legit on this currently. Okay. All right, linear equations. Okay. Okay. So remember what we did last time. I think you were with me last time we did linear equations. Okay. There's a lot of similarities though. Okay. All right. So going to another one. I'm going to feel like DJ Khaled, another one. I don't know. It just stuck with me for a second. Okay, must be in computer science or engineering. Okay, yes, I have notes. Okay, cool. All right, and graphs and functions. Okay. All right, good. It's good to have the notes. And like I said, if you want to practice with your notes, get a separate sheet of paper, copy down the problem, do it on that separate sheet of paper, and then bring your notes over to see if you really got the concept. That's how you practice. Okay? No more flipping pages like, yeah. Okay, I got that. Yeah, that's cool. No, that's not how you study math, people. Okay? All right. So now we have y equals negative 1/5 times x minus 5 squared minus 2. Okay, all right. Now, how far were you? I want to say Dion, but I'm not sure if that's her. Dion? Diani? Help me. Okay, how far were? All right. Thanks for the follow. All right. And if you know anyone else that's currently doing this and you're like, yo, there's this crazy chick that's over here on TikTok that's doing exactly what we need for our today's test. Okay. A 139. Okay. And I bet you it's a lot of it dealt with the algebra piece. I bet you cold hard cash, a lot of it was with the algebra piece. Because remember, every question is not worth the same value. Anything that deals with linear system of equations, equation of a line, graphing of a line, they're basically 4-point questions. If you can get more of those mixed in with the questions of like general arithmetic, you're going to pass it. Yep. Okay. Because like how often do you sit there and see this? Do you see this every day? Heck no. Like, when was the last time you saw that? Never. Okay. Yes. Ooh, so close. 139, 140, 143. All right. So that means it's time. It's time. So now, what's my vertex? Okay. For the people that were here from the beginning, help those that are just coming in. What is my vertex? Okay. So I got Lisa with 5, -2. Abdullah 5, -2. Pog 5, -2. Okay, that's happening in threes. Remember, this is the pattern. Okay, what's inside the parenthesis, you always take opposite what you see. I see a -5, so the opposite of minus is plus or positive. So I got my +5. That's my x value of my vertex. And then my y value is the constant as what I see it. So that will be a -2. Okay? And I hate to say it, something like this, if you can get like these first 4 right here on a GED, that's like a 4-point question each. Or actually 2 combined would be a 4-point question. Okay. All right. So we're not setting to 0, but thank you, Honest View. All right. So now my axis of symmetry, it is the line that goes directly through the x-axis. What will be the measurement of that axis? Okay. So we got all that. So So you got that. So what we got? We got 5s. Good. Good. All right. All right. Well, hey, how are you, Nicole? All right. So what we're doing is working on vertex form. Okay. So vertex form is this. You have your y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay. Your h and your k is your vertex. What's inside the parenthesis, you always do opposite sign. So if you see a minus, that means the sign of your h value for your vertex is going to be plus. If you see a plus, that means the value for your h is going to be minus. But the k will stay the same sign. All right? Okay. Yeah. 777, don't worry. It's okay. It's one of those people that just want to say something. So just like as I try to do with other people, I just ignore unless they start being insulting to you guys. Okay? I've been a classroom teacher, so, you know, I'm used to kids drawing, you know, body parts and all kinds of stuff all day. So, yeah. Right? Yeah, okay, I think you understand. All right, okay. So as we see here, inside the parenthesis, we had x minus 5. So that's why it's a positive 5. Then we had a negative 2 for the k. That's why we just brought the negative 2 down. So now your axis of symmetry is always going to be x equals, and it always goes through your x value of your vertex, which is 5. Okay, good. Well, wait, Lisa, take a look. What is the sign of your A? Okay, Will Jackson opening down, opens down because of the negative, okay? So since my A value is negative 1/5, okay, right now we're not worrying too much about what the 1/5. The 1/5 does do something to the graph, which I'll show you once we graph it. But since A is negative, that means it's going to open downwards. And if it opens downwards, do I have a maximum or a minimum? Okay, so it will open downward because it's negative. When it's negative, it opens down like a frown. When it's positive, it opens up like a cup. So do I have a max or a min if it opens down? If you're not sure, sketch. Because I know I'm a visual learner. So if it opens down, what's my point? What's my vertex? Is it a max or a min? Okay, and if you're not sure, remember, question marks are welcome. Okay, question marks are definitely welcome if you're not sure. Or if you're just busy calculating. I'm trying to write all this stuff down, Audrey. Okay, so we got max. It's okay, Nicole. I'm going to show you. Good. Max, max, max. Okay, I think it's a min. Okay, so max. Hey, Scene, how are you? I lied. It's min. Okay, already lying to me. I lied. It's min. Okay. Hey, Evelyn. All right. So let's take a look. This is the highest point compared to everything else. Everything else is going downwards. So it's starting at my highest point. So if it's a highest point, it's going to be a maximum. Okay, this is the highest that I can go. Everything else is going to be going all the way down to negative infinity. So if it is a maximum, what is my max value? What would be this top y? Good. What will be this top y? What do you think? Where can you find that information? Where can we find this information at? Okay. So I'm seeing 5, I'm seeing -2, -2. I don't know, which is fine because you just got here. Rita, your maximum value is always your vertex. Yes, but what will be the y value? So Tiffany's saying y value, but what is, and also 777, 777. What is the y value? Because it can't be all of them. What will be the highest y value? So we got our -2, we got our -2, -2, -2, -2. Yes. So if I look at my vertex, we have my axis of symmetry, which is a x equals 5. But then my max value is going to be the -2. Anytime they talk about the max or the min value, they're talking about your y of your vertex. All right. So now our y-intercept. So how we can find the y-intercept. So remember, y-intercept is 0, your y. So we're going to have to use our equation. A lot of people would say, oh, it's your constant, it's -2. No, that's only for linear, because now we're looking at a parabola. There is a beginning and then there's an end. There is an up and a down going on at the same time, as opposed to just either rising at a consistent rate upwards or falling in a consistent rate downwards. So we need to plug the 0 in for my x value so I can figure out what my y-intercept is. Okay, there is no y-intercept? There is. So let's see. So we have our -1/5 times 0 minus 5 squared minus 2. So 0 minus 5 will give me a -5. -5 squared, that's going to give me a positive 25. Because a negative times a negative gives me positive. 5 times 5 gives me 25. Now, we need to take this -1/5 and multiply it with the 25. AKA, it's a -1 times 25, which gives me a -25 over 5. What's 25, or sorry, -25 divided by 5? Good. Yes, there is always a y-intercept. Either it's at 0 or it's somewhere. It's always got some kind of crossing. Unless there is some kind of boundary lines, which you're going to learn about that way later. Okay? So 1/5 of 25 is the same as saying 25 divided by 5. So that will give me a -5. Bring down your -2. Okay. So -5 minus 2, that will give me, yes. Good, scene. Yes, it's usually in calculus. Okay. Good, Tamika. Good. -7. So wouldn't always be there limits at play? Sometimes there are. Sometimes the limits at play is the x and y axes. So there's always a possibility, but it's not a consistency. Okay. Good questions, guys. I love this. All right. But right now, since we don't have any limitations, we're just saying these quadratics are pretty much free balling right now. They're just doing that. Please, do you have a YouTube video of this? I'm actually going to release this video sometime either late evening, but I'm going to try before tutoring, but it all depends on how long it takes for this thing to upload. Because good, sweet gracious. I mean, last night I found there was an error. One video, which I thought it was the whole video, it only did like 12 minutes of it. Ridiculous. So I had to re-upload the video, and that was an additional 3 hours. Why, God? Why? So, AKA, haven't been to bed yet. Woohoo! That's what you're getting today. All right. So, our y-intercept is 0, -7. All right. So, we got some stuff. We got some info. Not a problem. Okay, we have some stuff. There was a, how do you know if the vertex is minimal? If your graph is opening up, you're going to have a min. If it opens up like a cup, it's going to be the lowest point of that graph. Okay? If it opens down like a frown, it's going to be the highest point. So this is going to be a min. This is going to be a max. Okay. All right, then opposite for negative. Yes. So whatever you see inside the parenthesis, Ashton, you're going to do the opposite. So if you see right here, it was a -5, that means my x value is going to be positive. And there was another one like up here. Sorry, I know that went really fast. Since it was a +4, that means our vertex was a -4. Because it's always opposite what you see in the parenthesis. The other ones, you go with the flow. You go by what you see. So why is knowing about parabolas important? Good question. So it's going to lead you into, if I may, sound waves. You know how I'm talking right here and you can kind of hear me? And there's like fluctuation in my voice and there's different pitches and different sounds, even with the music that's playing in the background. It's part of those sine and cosine waves. So if you can have a good understanding about part of that sine or cosine wave, okay, then you'll be able to understand what's happening when you're looking at different frequencies of sound waves. That's one that I always found that was important. There's probably more, but that's the one that always speaks true to me. Okay. All right. Okay. So, because everybody's like, let's play music. And I'm like, but you ever like have a song that it sounds so much better at a different frequency than the original? Yeah, no problem. Okay. So it's always something. Like a lot of people, we do things and we don't know that math is really associated with that. Just because we're not working out equations anymore. Because nowadays, a lot of things can be handled either through a graphing calculator or a lot of people have programs. Hence, how we're using the internet. That's all math. Okay, how we're talking on, I don't even know why we call them phones anymore. I think it's just something natural to do. But our phones are like transforming into some great things. And now that you can get Chat GPT and just ask it a question and it'll be like, oh, how do you feel today? You're like, dude, okay, sci-fi. This is what Star Trek was talking about, right? So, do all your notebooks have graphs in them? Yes. Like graphs like these, no, I taped and paste these in here because it's easier for me to, instead of wasting time graphing, but I can do it like this and you can easily get that. Yep, math is a great language. Also, lots of math models end up being quadratic, so knowing vertex and intercepts can be important. True, definitely true. Danny B. Okay. All right, so let's graph this thing. So we're going to start at the vertex. So my vertex, yeah, I can do a pencil. So my vertex, every time I'm plotting points, I always start at the origin. So that means I'm going to the right 5 and I'm going down 2 to plot my first point, and that's my vertex. From this point, okay, I have an axis of symmetry. So basically we're saying that there is a line that's going right through that vertex. And the way you name it is with the X. I know, didn't go completely where I wanted to go, but here we are. All right. So that means this needs to kind of move over a little bit, kind of make my point a little too big. All right. So next thing that we have is our y-intercept. So our y-intercept was 0, -7. So starting here at the origin, just go down -7. So if I notice, -7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units away from that axis of symmetry. So that means the mirror image of that point is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units away from my axis of symmetry. So now I got 3 points. If they ever ask you to sketch a graph, or you just want to sketch a graph just so you can kind of solidify your thought process, this is perfectly fine because I can see roughly where this parabola is going to be going. Okay? So if you want to sketch from here, you can. Go ahead, do it. There's going to be some teachers that are like, I want 5 points. And yeah, okay, all right. If you want to give them 5 points, you can give them another point. Okay? You can substitute one of your other points. Let's say if I substitute, but I don't want to substitute an even number because of this fraction. Let me emphasize a little bit. Because some people say, oh, okay, let me just put a 2 in there. All right, if I put a 2 in here, I'm going to get 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5, that's going to give me 3. 3 squared, that's going to give me 9. Now, guess what? I got to divide that 9 by basically a -5. That sucks, right? So you're not going to want to pick that. So if I notice I'm going to be doing some work and both of these are odd numbers, let me see if I put it like another odd number in here or something that's going to give me, maybe even give me 10. 10 will work amazing because 10 minus 5 will give me 5, right? 5 squared will give me 25. So if I divide that 25 by -5, that will give me a -5, right? And then -5, and that's funny because isn't that the point right here? 10, -5, it's right there, okay? But you notice how I always want to, when they ask for another point, you want to play around with something that's going to give you like multiples of 5. Okay, we already got the 5, we already got the 10, we already got the 0. You know, if you want to go all the way down to -5, have fun. But I know if I'm taking a timed assessment, sweet baby Jesus, I am not going to worry too much about it. I just know that my vertex is in the 4th quadrant. It is going downwards. So that means my range is going to be less than or equal to. I know my domain is all real numbers, but my range is going to be less than or equal to -2. Because less than or equal to my -2, because we're starting at -2 and we're covering everything less than that. Okay, that's how I would do it. Because remember, when you have these timed assessments, they don't care how you get the answer. They just want the answer. I know. You work so hard, going to classes, learning everything. They just want to know, did you bubble the right letter? That's it. Okay? All right. How do you get the axis of symmetry? Sure. The axis of symmetry is a line that's going to go through the x-axis. So that means it's going through the x of your vertex. So whatever your x value of your vertex is going to be your axis of symmetry. Same thing happened here. My vertex was 3, 2. Axis of symmetry is 3. Same thing happened here. My vertex was 1, 2. My axis of symmetry will be x equals 1. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So this is 8th grade math. That's a little bit of Algebra 1, but it's a refresher because if people are taking GED, ACCUPLACER, ASVAB, it's basically Algebra 1 heavy. So, yeah. And then plus there are some kids that don't take Algebra 1 in 8th grade. Some of them take it in 9th grade. Some people take it in 7th grade. So it can't really be based off of grades. Try graphing an ellipse, not today. In college level, but use this will help you in future for college, especially the ACCUPLACER. If you can do well on the ACCUPLACER and just test in for college algebra, you just have to take that one class. And I know it's a non-accredited class, so you're paying money for a non-accredited class. I would love for you guys to build up your confidence enough that you don't have to pay or spend 3 to 4 years. Yep, 3 to 4 years. That's the average. People that do take those intermediate classes, if they do stick with it, is usually around like 3 to 4 years. That's the average. This is, oops. Looking at some more comments. So sorry. Bone jangled 1, 2, 3. Did that help? What do you mean all real numbers? So all real numbers is dealing with your counting numbers, like counting on your fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whole numbers is starting with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Integers, so you have -5 or negative infinity to positive infinity. You have your rational numbers, so that's your decimals that don't repeat, and your fractions, and even some of your terminating decimals. But then you have your irrational decimals. That's like E, which actually E, the letter E is a number. Put it in your calculator. Type in E and raise to the first power. You're going to get a number. E has a number. Pi has a number. Anything that has numbers that keeps going on and on and on. They usually end with the 3 dots, okay, called the ellipse. That's at the 1. Can't spell either. What's this? What's happening here? A sophomore in, okay, so you're supposed to be a sophomore in college. I don't know how to do this. Okay, so we're going to, take it one step at a time. So can I do another? Yes, I can. And that's going to be on the, what type of math is this again? This is like Algebra 1. Algebra 1 second semester, going into like Algebra 2 first semester as a review. Now that I know 6th year in America, there you go. How did you get your understanding of this math? A lot of practice, because when I was growing up, I was probably like most of you guys, fearful of it. My parents did not understand it. And especially when they start putting letters and numbers together, I was like, what the hell is this? It didn't really click for me until year 25, I was working as an instructional assistant at a local high school. And the teacher just one day just said, fractions is nothing but division. And it just opened my mind to what else did I not know? And the more and more I paid attention in that class so I can help other kids with their math, the more it just made sense. And then I was walking into this one classroom and this teacher literally just put his feet up and he was reading a newspaper. And I said, are you going to teach a class? And he was like, no. And he was a rehire. So, they couldn't touch him at that time. So I took half his class into another room. I didn't ask anybody's permission. I said, if anyone's ready to learn, come with me right now. And I took him to a conference room. And the first thing I taught was slope. Rise over run. That was the first thing that I taught. So yeah. E is a decimal. Yes, it is. A very big decimal. Okay. Where'd you get this book? I didn't get the book. I made this book. Okay. I am the creator of the Ultimate Math Notebook. All right. So this is where I put a lot of notes in. I got sick and tired of all my students not having notes. And if they did have notes, it was all kinds of crazy. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. So what happened was, like, if they wanted to get their formulas, they get the formulas right away. And if there were any steps, they can write their steps down and they can do a lot of the work on both sides. So there's like a grid side and then the dot side. I like the dot side because it makes the graphs look so much cleaner and it's so much easier to plot points, as you can see from Exhibit A. So I do have this on Amazon. If you want, you can go to the link in my bio, go to my website, ACG Math Tutoring, and there's a page that says the Ultimate Math Notebook. If you click on that link, it will take you directly to it on Amazon, so you don't have to go searching all over the place looking for it. And not only does it have just the spacing, if you're not good with multiplication, I have factor sheets from 1 to 200. So if you're trying to break down radicals, or if you're trying to just remember, like, what are factors of something when you're trying to do factoring, this will help you out a lot. A lot of my students, I tried it out with a lot of my current and former tutors, tutees, I guess we can call them, and they love it. They're like, oh my gosh. And eventually by the end of the school year, they didn't really need it because they remember by getting that exposure to it. And then also a lot of the rules and regulations that a lot of people generally forget. And one of them, hey, look here, Vertex Form. This is what we're working on right now. Okay. Axis of symmetry, if you guys are doing it for the quadratics. And then also this is all linear and quadratics right here. We have exponential over here, order of operations being in the US as well as international. Then also properties of quadrilaterals, transformations, some of those rules for my geometry peeps. Also for volume and surface area. I know some people are still doing this or they're just finishing up that unit. Soon enough, more advanced geometry with areas of sectors and arc lengths. I did activities on that for Pi Day. Pythagorean's theorem, I know some people are doing that or maybe taking quizzes on that soon, as well as your SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, and tangent with their arc or their inverses. The identities for a lot of my trig kids. And then the unit circle, which Algebra 2 and pre-calc, that's going to be your saving grace. And then, of course, I give you some time for some brain breaks. Sometimes everybody just wants to doodle, maybe just do a little coloring, just do something mindless for a moment. Okay, if you're into pixel art, you can do some pixel art here. But I do have it on Amazon. Yep, so that's why I take it all. And then for my replays for all my TikTokers, if you go to my YouTube channel, ACG Math Tutoring, all my replays for my lives are there. Yeah, I'm just giving you the gift of education. Just the giving and giving. Yes. Okay? So it's called the Ultimate Math Notebook. Okay? The teacher doesn't even know what to do. Aw, wait, am I missing? I'm missing a lot of stuff. Hold on, there's a lot. Okay. I need these notebooks. Thank you. 7th through 8th math teacher. Yes, Megan, definitely go in there. And if you want a digital one, just so you can see if it works with your kids, I think I still have the links on there. If not, just let me know. Will you release all these as shorts for anything you're going over? I've been using some shorts, but let me tell you, people, doing these videos and downloading this stuff, holy shnikes. Like, that's the nicest way I can say it, because, you know, there are some younger people that watch these videos, so I don't want to be cursing up like a sailor. But usually me at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I am cursing everyone out as I'm editing these videos, because it takes forever to take it off of TikTok. But I tried to create shorts, and sometimes my YouTube is like, this is not the time to export, because I have so much information. They're like, you're kind of flooding us a little bit. But I do have shorts on there. So they're out there. Almost tons of this stuff is out there. Let's see. Do you have any videos on finding area of composite figures? Oh my goodness. How'd you know? I did do something like that, and I can't remember. But definitely take a look. I remember doing it for students, but I'm not sure if I did it for you guys. But I think I did, because I know I wanted to do that sometime this week, believe it or not. You're welcome. I think that means most teachers. Okay. Oh, 53? Hey, I'm 52. Not a problem. Casement. Love and skills and share freely. Yes, not a problem. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. Because there are times, there are days. Can you please do another practice? Yes, Bone. She's like, all right, zip it up, lady. It's like, can you hurry up, because I need to go back to class. All right, let me tape this down real quick. Yeah, like literally, it's seriously cut and paste. All right, so we have Zoom. Okay, we have x minus 2 squared. Ooh, where is she coming up with this? X minus 2 squared. What is my vertex? What is my vertex? Oh, what's my YouTube channel? It's actually my name, Audrey Codner. So Audrey Codner, and or you can say ACG, math tutoring. Okay, not a problem. Yeah, please subscribe. All right. So I have 0, 2. I have 2, 0. I love you're like, she didn't say anything. I have negative 2, 0. Okay, so let me zoom a little bit more. All right, remember, inside the parenthesis, you do opposite what you see. So I have a minus 2, so the opposite will be a positive 2. Now, I don't have a plus or a minus k. So that means 0 is going to take its place. Okay? So 0 will be my placeholder because I don't have a plus or a minus k involved. Okay, we're okay? All right. So you do the parentheses first. Yes. Because the parentheses is going to be your x values. Outside the parentheses will be your y values. So if my vertex is 2, 0, what's my axis of symmetry? It's going to be x equals what? EM. I saw you flash in here. Sonia, how are you? Oh, Yuri. Hello, Yuri. Nice to see you again. It's always nice to see everybody come back. Hamza or Amza, depending on where. All right, what we got? All right. Full, good. Josh, good. All right. So your axis of symmetry is always your x value of your vertex. Boom. That's it. That's it. That's all I need. All right. So is it going to open up like a cup or down like a frown? Okay, I'm trying. And I appreciate you trying. I appreciate you trying. Because remember, you got here towards the tail end. So I know it's feeling like a little stressy. Is that cool, kid? All right. So we got up. We got up. Opens up. Opens up. Opens up. Since it's squared, already positive. Now, we're not doing anything with the square. Okay? We're not solving. We're just grabbing information. So we're not solving. Right now, that square is just telling me that it's quadratic. So how I can tell what's in front of the parenthesis? If I don't see anything, it's assumed to be a positive 1. So it's going to open up like a cup. So if it opens up like a cup, am I going to have a max or a min? Okay, good. Yes, correct. And it has a minimum. Correct. Good. If it opens up like a cup, that means we have a point down here. So that gives me a minimum. All right. Okay. So now, since we have a minimum, what is the minimum value? What's the value of our minimum? AKA, what is my lowest y? Not the 2. The 2 is my x. So we got 0, not the 2. The 2 is the x. Okay, Yurli, good. Just drop the question mark. So we got the 0, we got the 0, we got the 0, oh, 0, good. We got Meg with the 0. Okay. Where's 4 coming from, guys? We're not squaring anything. We're not solving anything. Okay. All right, Bridget. So my lowest point is going to be a y value. So if I look at my vertex is a 0. So my lowest y value is going to be a 0. Okay, the 2 is my x, is my axis of symmetry. And we always do opposite what we see inside the parenthesis. So we already took care of the x with the vertex and the axis of symmetry. But when it comes to the minimum or maximum, that's when we're dealing with the y's. Okay, you're okay, Bridget? Is that mind blown being like, oh my gosh, that's that easy? Or is it mind blown being like, how? Okay. Yosef, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Okay. Double agent. I haven't seen that name in a while. How are you? All right. So now let's find the y-intercept. So the y-intercept, that's when your x value is equal to 0. So this is when you're going to start solving. So we need to find what is our y-intercept. So we're going to go back to the equation and we're going to substitute the x with 0 so we can figure out what the y value is. So if we have it, we have 0 minus 2 squared. Okay, we want to figure out the y value. So we know that 0 minus 2, that gives me a negative 2 squared. Negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2. So this is what this means. Okay, good. There we go. There we go. We got Josh, we got Cool Meg, good. We got Euro, we got Cool Kid, good. Yep. So that gives me a positive 4. So that means my y-intercept is going to be 0, 4. It's actually a point. I was learning this in school, yes. But I'm so grateful I didn't have to use what's called a slide rule. Yeah, that was hell. Life before calculators. Yeah. Okay, so I just multiplied it. I squared it. Okay, so once it's negative 2 times negative 2, you multiply those two. A negative times a negative gives me a positive. 2 times 2 gives me 4. Yes, polka dot deer. A negative times a negative is a positive. Can you do this in the calculator? What do you mean? Like finding all the vertex and all that stuff? You can, but it's a whole process. Or just checking it. Yeah, it's going to be a whole process. Yeah, not today. Okay. Now, we have all of this information. Let's plug it into our graph. Oops. All right. So, as I slide this over, okay, my vertex is 2, 0. So I'm starting here at the origin. I'm going to go to the right 2 and just plot the point because there is no rise because it was at 0. Our axis of symmetry it's just like a weird glare. I'm trying to make sure I get it. Okay, so here and here. All right, so the vertex is at 2, 0. The axis of symmetry is x equals 2. So that means it's going right through the x-axis at 2. So now we want to get our y-intercept. So our y-intercept is at 0, 4. So that's where it crosses the y-axis. So now, this y-intercept is 1, 2 units away from the axis of symmetry. So the point that's reflected over that point is 1, 2 on the other side of the axis of symmetry. So now here, I could kind of graph it. But if I wanted to, I don't know, find another point, let's say at, I don't know, negative 2. So if I think I can do that. If I plug in negative 2 for the x, just so if I wanted to find another point, negative 2 minus 2. The signs are exactly the same. So that means I'm going to keep that negative and I'm going to add the 4. Think about it. You owe me $2. Then you borrow another $2. That means you owe me $4. Okay? Without interest, of course. With interest, 10. Anyway, squared. Then negative 4 squared. Negative 4 squared is the same as saying negative 4 times negative 4. Okay? Negative 4 times negative 4 will give me a positive 16. That's going to be kind of hard to graph because my graph goes up to 10. All right? So probably might want to do something a little smaller like 1, which I can do. If I did 1, it would be 1 minus 2, which will give me a negative 1. Negative 1 squared will give me 1. So I would have a point here at 1, 1. That would have made more sense to do. Okay. All I did was plug in the 1 into the equation, and I got a 1 out. So now this point is 1 unit away from the axis of symmetry. So that means its reflective point is going to be 1 unit away from the axis of symmetry. All right. So now I got my 5 points, which a lot of teachers love to do. And then I can just go ahead and try to graph it as best. Woo, that was terrible. As best I can. Okay. So we can sketch it. So understand. Oh, good. Oh. Well, I'm here to translate. I'm here to translate. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. So the axis of symmetry, just your y point. The axis of symmetry is your x equals. It is your line. Your y point, the axis of symmetry is your x equals. It is your line. Sorry, phone call. Yeah, it's almost getting to that time I have to go and tutor at 3. So if anything, excuse me, the axis of symmetry is a line that goes through your x value. So it goes directly through your x value. Okay. Do you do Algebra 2 or any math subjects? I do Algebra 2. That is my jam, actually. I love doing Algebra 2. I got TSI testing tomorrow. Okay. Well, here's my thing. Try your best. Don't try to like cram all this stuff in your head because then you're going to be like, I give up. Okay? Take a quick little refresher, breathe, and then just take the test. Now, here's the thing. I love how a lot of people are like, yeah, pass the test for the first time. No one wants that. No. And then because then you hype yourself up, you take all these programs, you do all these things, and you're like, yeah, I could pass it the first time. I hope you do. But at the same time, if you don't, then all of a sudden you're like, screw this is stupid, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then you're going to put your hopes and dreams on the back shelf for like 2-3 years. And then all of a sudden one of your best friend passes on and you're like, you know what, I need to get my life together. And then I'm just basically transparent because this is what I've gone through. And then I finally have to sit down, reevaluate my life, and then you try to go up to it again. And then you're saying to yourself, I'm too old for this, and you're not too old for this. Give yourself some grace, for heaven's sakes. We want you to be successful. I want you to be successful. And I know you want to be successful. But I can't promise you that you're going to pass it the first go round. It's always best to take the test one time. Just go in willy-nilly, whatever it is, to see. And if you pass it, great. But at least take a knowledge about how to take the test, how to arrange it. That's why I always say give yourself grace, because when you hype yourself up and then you don't pass it, you're going to just say, F this and I'm out. But we don't need for you to be out. We need for you to be in this workforce, because there's a lot of people that are not working. And we need your knowledge, and we need your expertise, and we need your compassion, and we need your desire. And if you're going to be, if I may say so, selfish and keep it to yourself, how are we supposed to live? Okay? So don't give up on yourselves. All right? Let's go back so I can get off my soapbox. Let's see. I got confused because I did this in Algebra 1. It's true, yes, because you will do this in Algebra 1. Okay, this is like basically second semester Algebra 1, first semester Algebra 2. Okay, maybe first quarter if they're doing a review. Okay, it's just input and output for functions. Yep. If they give you an input, you put it into the equation, you get your output. Yep, and that's basically what I did to find these other points. I'm learning function now. I'm lost. You sound like a math teacher, because I am. And guess what? It took me 11 times to pass the praxis. I wanted to be a teacher so badly. And the reason why I'm not in the classroom anymore, because I got tired of all the BS. I got tired of the meetings, about the emails about the meetings. And especially, I was never given really enough time to teach, because I'm always going to a meeting, especially an IEP meeting. I'm always going to a meeting with the principal, and she's like, I just want to check in and see how you're doing. Yeah, I was doing fine because I was teaching, or it was just always all this stuff. And I'm like, just let me do what I love to do, which is teach. And I just couldn't do that. So I decided I needed to go. And what do I need to do? What can I do to keep this education thing going? I saw someone talk about online tutoring. I thought online tutoring was for some kid in high school that's just doing it for credit, or some college kid just trying to get beer money, right? But then I realized that you can make money off of this. And then here we are. This is my 5th year doing it, and I'm still loving it. And I'm fully booked, and but I will always make room for people, because that's what I do. I have kids students all over the U.S., including Alaska, and I had some students in Nairobi, Kenya, and Cairo, Egypt. So, yeah, seen it, been it, done it. Yes. It's very bad nowadays. It was always been bad, because my thing is people don't respect teachers, and they don't understand that without a teacher, you have nothing. Someone's got to teach you something. So if you don't have a teacher, who's going to teach it to you? Someone that's just going to make something up, and all of a sudden you're going to blow up, and not in a good way. Right? Get that money, girl. Thanks, Melissa. Yeah, it's exhausting, but it's a good exhaustion. Like, now I'm working for me. Now I'm building up students who is just beaten. Parents crying on the phone, like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, just give me your child and just watch the transformation. Just do that. And then, like, sometimes it takes a month, sometimes because I see them once a week. Sometimes it'll take like maybe 2-3 weeks for them to feel comfortable and start striving. At most, like about a month and a half. That's usually my average, because I just cut to the chase, just like what I do with you guys here. All right. Okay. Do I do calculus? I don't. I'll be truthful. Calculus is not my jam. But if you're serious about needing a tutor for calculus, I got a guy. I got you. He's awesome with AP calculus, AB, BC. as well as AP statistics. So, I mean, I've given this man tons of money. Tons of money. Okay. May I see the problem? Which problem? The next problem? Kate, sorry. So if I'm missing information for Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, should I go back and learn more about them? Yes. That's the framework of math. Okay, which problem, Kate? The one that we just worked on, or the next problem? What are we talking? The left side of the page. Okay, let me zoom in. Okay. All right. Some screenshots. This is going to be fun. Okay. Oh, no apologies, Kate. No apologies necessary. Because actually I do have to wrap up so I can get to my tutoring. But I will be here. I will be here this evening, either 8:30 or 9. It depends on my kid. Not my personal kid, but my student. Because sometimes some of my students and I would go a little bit later. So it also depends on how much we need to cover. Because I'm not a miracle worker, people, but people think I am. And I'm like, I'm not. All right, I'm confused about the first step you said. Can you repeat it? The first step for finding the vertex or the first step of graphing the vertex? Nicole, which one? Yes. Okay. So finding the vertex. So you always start inside the parenthesis. You always do opposite what you see. So I see a -2. So that means my x value is going to be a +2. Then I go for the k. In this case, there isn't a k. So I need to put the 0 as a placeholder. Okay, I always have to have 2 numbers for an ordered pair. That's the only way it works. Okay. But between now, I need help for finals. If anything, because I have some kids that just sees me once a month. Yeah, welcome to my world. So if anything, definitely click the link in my bio, whereas the website, and there's a contact me form. Fill that out, and then I'll definitely see if I can contact you, preferably before my live. Okay, because I know from 3 to roughly like 8:15, I'm gonna be like, nothing but tutoring. Okay, so I will always make room because I'm 7 days a week. And because I know during the summer, I generally don't get a whole lot of students, so I jam myself up as best I can. Okay? Yeah, so just go ahead and go to that one. Not a problem. Can you show a case where there is a K? Yes. Where were you? Where there is a K. So here is one. Let me zoom in on that one for you. Bada boom, bada bang. Okay. Yes, please show an example where K is given. Yeah, K is given right here, that -2. So my X value is always opposite what I see. Since I see a -5, it's going to be a +5. And then my K is -2, so I bring down the -2. Not a problem. Not a problem. Yes. If I want to, and see, course prep. If anything, go to my bio, go to the website, acgmathtutoring.com. Why is it called K? Because it's your constant. They don't like to use the C. I don't know why. because C does not represent a number. So they use the K to represent the constant. I don't know. They were bored back then. I think they just liked to write the letter K. I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the follows, guys. Thank you for the likes. If you do have a moment to tap a little bit more, I was going to share a couple of things. I know I've been talking about my math notebooks. Again, they are on sale on Amazon. And I'm very proud of myself. I'm really happy that a lot of people are taking advantage of these. And I am going to be releasing a newer version. I'm trying to do one just for geometry because geometry has a lot of stuff. So that's going to be my May/June project. So I can have that ready for the start of the school year next year, or this upcoming school year, after the summer. But if you can, I'm going to switch up for just a mo. If you can, and let me unzoom just a bit. If you can do me a major solid, all right, since I'm basically tutoring and I'm trying to build up my numbers on Google profile, on my Google business, if you can go to ACG Math Tutoring, do a search for me, and just do a Google review, that will be fabulous. I would love to get my goal of 100 reviews on there. Write what you feel, okay? Write what you feel. If it's degrading, obviously, I'm going to talk to you and we're going to change it. But if it's something that you're oh, she's great, this is wonderful, you don't have to sugarcoat it. I'd rather be real. But if you're just she doesn't like short people, seriously? The guy I married was shorter than me, okay? So it's nothing like that, okay? And again, if you want to subscribe, I'm not sure if I'm getting everything in here. Okay, that's a lot better. All right, so if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's ACG Math Tutoring or Audrey Codner ACG Math Tutoring. Either one. I'm the only Audrey Codner on the planet. Okay, there's tons of Audreys, but there's only one Audrey Codner. So you can just go ahead and type that into the YouTube channel and go ahead and subscribe. And you'll see a playlist that says, and it's really deep, TikTok lives. So most of my lives, I have some that were scheduled because I wanted to kind of give myself a little bit of breather, because I know downloading these things are a pain in the butt. But I'm trying to go live at least once a day now. In the beginning, I used to do twice a day, but I think I might be expanding it to once a day. And it all depends on if I do have breaks in between and I just fit them in with giving you guys information. But if there is a concept that you're hey, Audrey, can you go over this? All right. Let me see if I can do it. Awesome. If you're talking about calculus, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, can you take the derivative? No. Can you take the limit? No. Can we do it? No. But if it's more something that you can see on the GED, the ACCUPLACER, the ASVAB, even some people that are doing the T's, the algebra component on the T's. So solving one-step, two-step, multi-step equations, graphing, looking at graphing linear equations using standard form, graphing, and we did graphing inequalities not too long ago on a coordinate plane. Soon enough, I'm going to revisit system of equations, because a lot of you guys are going to go back to that, and some of you guys are going to go into matrices. Matrices is not too treacherous, but then when it gets funky, trust me, you're going to need to have a graphing calculator. All right, so this is ideal what I have right now. This Sunday, probably not. I think this Sunday is probably going to be later. It might be our usual 8:30, maybe a little earlier, but it's not going to be 5:30. I had to have a kid there. So I go for my students because hey, they're helping me to pay my bills, and I have to go for them first. All right? All right, cool. I'm so glad that you guys like the class. She tried to go over because I left you something there. All right, I will. Thank you. Get confused, so they use K. Yes. Okay, I bought 2. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So, nice. Thank you so much for all the support. I will be on again, like I said, tonight. I'm going to be working on going from standard form to vertex form. So we're going to be doing more of the algebraic. And that's going to be tonight, either around 8:30, possibly 9. Okay, so it's going to be possibly a little later. It all depends on how my student is for the evening. Okay, all right. I am going to sign off. If you guys can tap a little bit more, I would love for a 10K if that's possible. I know there's 13 of us. That would be awesome. Okay, I'll be here. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so if you guys can tap, I would love that. Bye-bye. See ya. Is it just Algebra 1, Algebra 2? Basically, I mean, once in a while, I did throw in a couple of geometry, looking at volume and surface area. I did that. I don't think I'm going to be doing any proofing just yet. All right. All right. Have a great day. Yes. Please, please, please. So if you guys would tap a little bit more, I would greatly appreciate it. See if we can get it to like 10. That would be phenomenal. And then, or actually, I got to get going. I love how I was saying, like, yeah, can I tap? I'm like, no. All of a sudden, I got an alert. She's here. All right. So thank you so much, guys. I will see you tonight. Please have an amazing day. And please stay safe. Everyone is just losing their blessed minds out. I just can't. I just can't anymore. All right? Okay. All right. So you guys have a great day. Stay amazing. Okay. Thank you. We're at the 10. Thank you so much. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.